Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the podcast. It's your host, Joba Domi. So this episode was kind of inspired by an incident that happened on a group of my secondary school guys. So I dropped my New Year video on the group and there was this guy that was like, I know no bad intentions actually, he was just making jokes out of it. And I just thought about it, like people would actually feel, there's people that might look at it, people that aren't like, that don't believe in our craft that much. It's just hanging by a thread. And then you drop something like, and somebody's making a joke out of it. You might feel personally offended. You might feel like you're not doing enough and stuff like that. So I just wanted to just put it out there for anyone that is struggling with that kind of situation, or you just want to start putting on your craft or what you're doing, and you just want to have the idea that you need to block out the noise, because there are going to be a lot of people that will say this and say that and do this and do that. So you want to be the person that will filter what was important and what was not. I just wanted to drop this episode, and I felt it to be under the Pure Focus series because I mean Pure Focus, of course. So you want to differentiate between objective opinions, in the sense that you already know when somebody is joking about your stuff is not objective again, like it's just a joke. So all this kind of stuff, you don't take it too personal. I mean, you can joke with the person too, even if they might be paying for anything, but the kind of opinions that isn't objective, don't take it personal. So if somebody is saying something about your work or your podcast, your app, anything that you're creating, right, you want to make sure that that opinion is objective before you even listen to it. If somebody is just saying something because they don't like it, like if you're not giving an objective opinion, or if someone isn't giving an objective opinion to what you're doing, then just let it. You don't even need to argue with the person. You don't need to do too much. You don't need to be like, you don't need to start proving anything to anyone, because if somebody doesn't get it, then what are you trying to prove there? So you just want to focus on your thing. Just focus on what you're doing. You know what you want to do, you know what you're heading to, and you believe in your craft, and you just do it. Just push it. Just keep it pushing, right? You don't want to be carried away by all the noise outside. People that are dropping constructive criticism. If it's not constructive, then don't listen, right? It also teaches you on how to focus on yourself, how to make sure that you're not swayed by the public opinion, right? There's some people that they were true to their craft, they were posting, they were doing what they want to do, and then at the point the opinion just started getting a lot, because the more you grow, the more opinions you're going to get. People started saying this, no, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong. A lot of people talk every day, like so, and then there's some people that might look at that and fold. They might compromise on their craft. They might do something different. They might even give up, like this isn't for me. You get what I mean? So it teaches you that if you can block out the noise from an early age, if you can block out the noise when it started small, when you eventually reach that stage where you've blown up, or when you're getting a lot more engagement on your creations, you want to keep it halal. You want to make sure that you're still blocking out the noise at any level, and you want to stay true to your craft. So you know what I mean by, you don't have to, it doesn't mean that you don't listen to anybody. You just make it constructive as possible. That those are it's really constructive opinions that you listen to, and anything else you just noise, right? And then it teaches you how to craft a niche for yourself, in a sense that when you're not swayed by public opinion, you just do what you want to do. You're just true to yourself. And then what I noticed was that I was speaking on this on another podcast with my guy, that what I noticed about my creation is that how will I put this now? I don't like rushing. Like when I have too much pressure on myself to create something, like say a podcast, say a video, right, or just write. If I have too much pressure to create something, I will flop it. Like pressure and creation for me is not, they don't go hand in hand. They don't go too well together. And that's where I have like backlogs of episodes. So if I release a video today, just I have like 3 other videos that I have not released, right? Personally for me, it makes me feel grounded that, okay, no, there's no pressure. I can always just record another video and release. But then if I release a video and I don't have any video else to release, I'm already pressured. I'm like, what am I going to do? I have to start going to go and record another video. So personally for me, pressure doesn't work. Pressure doesn't work for me. So I like to record maybe like 5 or 6 podcast episodes down. It's not really that much. It's just like 3 or 4 episodes down. And then when I release one episode, I've already recorded 2 more. I release another episode, I recorded like 2 more again. So I'm just keeping ahead of myself to make sure that I don't feel too pressured when I eventually release all the episodes and I don't have anything left. And then I'll start thinking like, what that say. But if I'm under control and I know what I'm doing, I can craft my niche properly, and I can just stay true to myself. or stay true to what I'm trying to achieve. Another point I wrote here was like, do what you love and do it well. So when I said about like swaying due to public opinion, if you love something and you're doing it, and even though you might not be getting engagements, but you know that this is something that the true people that will get value from this will get value from this, then just keep it pushing. Like, don't need to hear people's opinions, don't need to be like, make it shorter, make it this, make it that. Like, there were some opinions in my podcast that were like, I should make it shorter. Personally, for me, I didn't want to make it shorter because there are podcasts that are like 3 hours. So why is it my own podcast I want me to reduce, right? But at the point in time, I just realized that personally, for me, I didn't want to record longer episodes unless I needed to, because the podcast was usually more of like an escape to just see what I had to say. But now I make videos, I can say what I have to say there. I write to. Most of what I have to say is usually in my writing these days, because I just write based on what I'm feeling at the moment. But podcasts is usually scripted, right? So I don't have that much to say anymore. If I want to say something right, I've already written it down already somewhere in a quote or like in the newsletter, or probably I've said it in the video. So the podcast is just more of like topics, points I need to hit, right? So I had like, okay, I need to talk to these people about this. I need to enlighten people about this. I like people about that. It isn't really about what I have to say at the moment anymore. So that's why the podcast episodes don't need to be as long as they used to be. So it's not like as if I promised on my craft. It's just more of like I just evolved to having to not record longer episodes anymore. I might still record, but it just depends on what I'm doing, right? So you just want to make sure that is right within you. You know that there's some things that people will say, even though the opinion is as constructive as possible, it doesn't just sit right with you. Like, you know, that kind of guy, it's not that kind of craft. You don't move that way. So it's at the end of the day, it's your craft. It's you that you know what you're creating. It's you that knows what you're doing. It's you that knows what you're trying to achieve. So if it doesn't sit well with you, then do your thing, man. Even though it's as constructive as possible, just do your thing if it doesn't sit well with you. So yeah, and also be consistent with it. Just keep it pushing every day. We might not get engagements today, but trust me, like the backlogs of what you're doing in the next 5 years to make a lot of sense. When I started the podcast in like when I started 2022, I think ending of the year 2022, I wasn't even getting that much again. Probably like 7 listeners and stuff like that, just many people I knew. But if I drop an episode now, people might check the latest episode and they will also go back to the ones I recorded in 2022. So just keep it pushing. Be consistent with it and just don't compromise. Just keep it pushing. Just block out the noise and you'll be fine. So yeah, enjoy the process too. This is another point here. Enjoy the process. Just enjoy what you're doing. Love it. Just bask in it. Just enjoy creating things every day and putting it out there for people to listen. So yeah, and you'll be fine at the end of the day, honestly. So thank you for listening, and I will catch you in another one. Peace.